Hi, this is Robert Kiyosaki, and you're listening to Capital Hacking. This is the most important thing you can listen to today.
Hello, this is Josh McCown from Renault Winery Resort, and we have a very important announcement from Matt Sorensen about Learn and Grow, August 24th. Take it away, Matt.
I'm Matt Sorensen from Directed IRA. I'm excited to be the keynote speaker at the Learn and Grow event for Accountable Equity on August 23rd and 24th. Got to book your tickets and get registered. I'm excited to be there and to meet you in person.
Here's the one.
I have a dream.
With great power comes great responsibility.
I can do this all day.
This is it. Don't get scared now.
They may take our life, but they'll never take our freedom.
Cinderella story out of nowhere.
It's in the hole. That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Capital Hacking begins in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Capital Hacking, John. It's great to be here with you, buddy.
Oh, it's always great. And it's always great to have MC Laubscher, a.k.a. the Cashflow Ninja, on the show.
I mean, I think he's very, very smart, and usually he's cracking the code for me. As a matter of fact, I didn't get into it in this show, John, but the name of this show, Capital Hacking, was inspired by me listening to him as a guest on my buddy's show like 6 years ago, where he talks all about capital is much more than just finances. It's a lot more. And, for you and I, we talk about human capital. And he's one of those people in my circle, John, and hopefully you get the benefit. You've introduced me to thousands of great people, but in my circle, for me, he helps me see around the corner on some stuff. And he always opens the door to, for lack of a better term, what the ultra wealthy do. He's always like showing me, oh, this is how that works, or this is why they're saying that. And then he didn't get into it today, but his South Africa story, because he's from South Africa and speaks Afrikaans and all that cool stuff. And by the way, the funniest part of the show for me today was when he says, I was doing this as well. And he says the word as well. You got to hear it. Now that I've said it, and when you listen to the show and he says as well, it's so unique the way he says it. And every time I crack up, and there's times when he'll just call him and he's like, as well, just to make me laugh. Sorry. There's a lot in the show, and I didn't give you any of the tidbits. John, one tidbit, and we got to go.
Yep. So here's something that I took away in a major way, because MC doesn't just look at finances through the lens of the United States. He looks at it through the lens of the world. And he talks about, obviously, a lot of his stuff is about how to avoid certain taxes, right? That's what the wealthy does. But he also, in this show, points out areas where you don't want to avoid taxes.
That was shocking.
Yeah. So that was a big takeaway, and he explains about that.
Yeah. Thank you so much for saying that, John. MC did great. You're going to love this show.
Let's go.
John, you know one of our favorite, he's actually a hero of Melanie and I. His name's MC Laubscher, and we get to have him on the big show today. You and I call him the Cashflow Ninja, right, John?
Yeah, we do. And MC, thank you for being on. He's been on multiple times, always brings great energy, amazing information. Without further ado, MC, I'm going to hand it over to you. I know you were just showing us, by the way, the trilogy of books that you have right in front of you. If you want to talk about that a little bit, let's go.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. I always enjoy our conversations. And yeah, I'm pretty excited. I completed the trilogy of books. So the first one is the 21 Best Cashflow Niches, Creating Wealth in the Best Alternative Asset Investments, revised edition, and the foreword is done by Josh and Melanie McCallan on this one. So I'm very excited about that.
Amazing.
The second book is the
honor,
21 most
unique.
The 21 most unique cash flow niches, creating wealth in the most unique alternative asset investment. And the third one is the 21 best cash growth niches, growing your wealth in the best alternative investments. And basically what I did with this trilogy of books is since 2016, I've interviewed some of the best minds in business and investing, and I shared in every single book, there's 21, and I obviously have to throw in a bonus niche in there to over deliver. So you've got 66 alternative asset investment niches that well researched and documented, and exactly what they are, how they work, why investors invest in them, how investors generate cash flow or grow their capital, how they can lose money, and what are some of the positives and negatives of each asset class. So I did a deep dive into 66 of them. And I also share between the 3 books, there's about 12 alternative wealth strategies, something completely different that folks might not be aware of, which I've learned on my journey. So I'm pretty excited to have the books out there. And by the way, I see this as part of like my body of work since 2016 with the Cashflow Ninja show, and I'm giving those away. So you can, if you want to support the book, it's basically at cost on Amazon, available on Amazon. If you want to just download it for free, you could just go to cashflowninja.com. It's available on the website. You can get the ebook and the audiobook for free. And if you want the physical copy, it's at cost on Amazon. So I wanted to make this available to as many people as possible. I've thoroughly enjoyed learning about each and every one of these alternative asset investment niches and also these alternative wealth strategies. So I just wanted to share that.
Whoa! Okay, I hope I didn't pop the mic right there. That was one of the best, highest energy self-promotions I've ever heard, MC. So congratulations. You've been doing this professionally. And I'll tell you what, as an outsider, I agree with everything you said. You really have been a thoughtful guy for all these years. You have done thousands and thousands of high-value recordings with thought leaders in those spaces. And the fact that you took the time, and I know it's been a project that's been going on for 3 years, you've been unveiling these books. You invited Melanie and I to be the forward of one of them, and you've chronicled accountable equity strategies in there so many times. I'll tell you what, everybody, please pause this awesome show and go to cashflowninja.com and let's get these books out there, because they're the things that crack the wealth code, as your shirt says, right, John? I mean, you and I grew up thinking to get rich, all rich people just put money in Wall Street. And that's not what MC's talking about.
Yeah, MC, I mean, your energy there was awesome. And by the way, it sounds to me like it was a real labor of love getting these 3 books done, and that you're giving it away for free. And that is so generous, man. You're leading with value, and that's why, you are so successful. Give us a couple of these strategies that a lot of people you would think have no idea about.
Yeah, so there's, with regards to the alternative wealth strategies, I've been on the show talking about infinite banking, so we talk about that a little bit there, how to be your bank, using mutual life insurance companies with a dividend-paying whole life insurance policy, and how you can basically create your own family bank and finance the expansion and growth of your business, and also finance the growth and expansion of your portfolio. There's also other ways of how to do that. So one of the other very interesting strategy that I shared is you can actually do that with gold as well. So you can actually buy gold, store gold, and there's obviously different places that you can do it. We prefer it in the Caribbean, offshore in the Cayman Islands. And then that same company then allows you to place that gold as collateral for a loan to then use to grow your business and your investment portfolio. And I thought that was a fascinating strategy, which I've learned in one of the masterminds that I'm in, because a lot of those folks understand risk management, and they want gold, but as a lot of people know, gold is gold, as good as gold. It's been money for centuries, but it doesn't generate income in and of itself, right? So this is another way of how you can buy the gold, place the gold as collateral, and then generate income through, for example, buying a business or buying some more real estate with your gold. So you have your gold, and now you have added another asset without selling your gold. We talk a lot about really cool self-directed IRA strategies, how you could use your Roth IRA and eventually generate tax-free growth inside of those vehicles, investing in alternative asset niches. And we talk a little bit about just other cash flow management strategies, right? We're all very, very focused just on generating income and growing our capital through our businesses and through our investment portfolio. But sometimes when you have some leaks in your own boat, those leaks become bigger and bigger and bigger and can sink a boat over time. So you want to be mindful of that. So we share strategies, which is alternative wealth strategies, of how to plug those leaks, recapture that cash flow to grow your business and your investment portfolio. And then also one of the other alternative wealth strategies that we also tackle is taxes. Your number one biggest wealth destroyer, your biggest check that you'll ever write in your life. We tackle that of how to become more tax efficient, how to position assets more tax efficiently, and also talk about legal and tax structures that business owners and investors can utilize to protect their wealth from one of these biggest wealth destroyers.
I will tell you, MC, so many of those things you just mentioned, they roll off your tongue because you have put the time in, the work in. But any one of those folks, and I want to hit them real quick again, I'll try to remember them all. Any one of these could change your future. And let's go through this. Well, there's the collateralized strategies, which we'll come back to.
Yep.
Of gold or of whole life insurance. But then you talked about the IRA and Roth IRA, right? Using that within a self-directed strategy. And then you talked about taxes. And I want to start with taxes for just a second. And this is the eye-opener for people like me. And I don't know if it was for you, John, but when I started realizing that the wealthy people, you know, they're placing their money in these cash flowing assets and not having to pay taxes on the money kicking back out of the assets. And this is obviously why so many people invest with accountable equity, because we build structures like that for them. But that blew my mind. And the point is, the tax code allows for it if you do what the code says to do. And then the biggest thing is it's not leaking out. And that is the perfect description. And I'll just end on this one point. In this group, GoBundance, that John and I, of course, have been part of for years, they make you do a one sheet where you have to write your personal wealth and your personal net worth, I should say. And I always say, if I put $100,000 into an investment that gives me back negative, depreciation, so that I could then so I'll actually lower my taxes, and then I don't have to pay those taxes. I'm saying this confusing, but it's the end of a year. I write a $100,000 check and buy a great asset that then gives me back negative $30,000 in losses, fake losses, but real losses, paper losses. That eats up some of my taxes, but I still get to show the net worth of $100,000, John. But if I didn't buy that $100,000, my net worth would have been $70,000 on that pot of money, right? You see what I mean? Like, it just magically would have been less, and all I did was direct it into an investment. My balance sheet actually just automatically went up by 30% in the opposite of what would have happened. Did I say that okay? That is such a, if I explained it well enough, it should have a bunch of people driving off the road for a second, that it's all you did was a decision. You didn't have to go to work again. You didn't have to go put in 80 hours that week, but you preserved 30% of leakage.
Yeah.
What do you think?
And I will say this, the world operates. There's laws. They're invisible, but they're there. Gravity, I think we all understand that one. We understand the laws of gravity. But in the world of wealth and money, the world operates with certain laws as well. So the ultra wealthy, when they understand these laws, they understand when you're born, there is a compound interest equation already, and you could be on the right side or the wrong side of that compound interest equation. It's just simple mathematics. The world runs on math, and they're aware of it. And taxes is one of those. So taxes is if you want to build wealth and sustain wealth, not just for you and your generation, but your children and your children's children and so forth, you got to put yourself on the right side of that opposite. Of that compound interest equation. I'll also say this, Josh, too. there's two rules that people play by, two rule books. And this sometimes gets people, I ruffle some feathers with this. But there's two sets of rules. There's rules for people that are informed, and there are rules for people that are uninformed. And that's just the reality of it. So the folks that are informed understand the tax code, they understand the tax game. The folks that are not informed, they don't understand it. They take they get all of their advice and their information from the people that understand these two sets of rules. So I'll give you an example. And this is very simple. This is how I think about it. If you think about how you generate income, not all income it's treated the same. So you can generate it in the capacity, as Robert Kiyosaki shared in Rich Dad Poor Dad, as an employee, a self-employed person, a business owner, or an investor. Those four types of incomes treated very, very differently. So for those in the know, they understand that the most tax efficient income is that of a business owner. And by the way, that's fair, because if you think about the net benefit that a business owner brings to an economy, creating jobs, creating products and services that solve problems and challenges in the marketplace, that helps the marketplace and provides an enormous value. And of course, I mentioned the jobs already, employing other folks. And then the second part of it, after you generate that income, where do you put that income? Now, we're all being told just give it to Wall Street or put it in banks, right? Well, if you know and understand the game, life insurance, there's a reason why people position capital in life insurance, and it's guaranteed to grow tax-free. The dividends are tax-free. You can access it tax-free, and you have a death benefit. So essentially, you eliminate future taxable events on that capital that's placed in there. Now, if you think about life insurance companies, it's the bedrock of society. It's what keeps families together in times of crises. It's what keeps businesses together in times of crises. Some of the oldest mutual insurance companies in the United States were founded by Quaker businessmen. You know, we're local here in Philadelphia and in Pennsylvania. Quaker businessmen found one of the oldest mutual insurance companies in the United States, and it was to help and protect the business owners, their businesses and their families and their communities in the event of a catastrophic event or something that occur, right? So it is a net benefit for society as a whole to position capital there. And then when you deploy it into assets such as real estate, just to use one of those, which again, the government doesn't want to become a landlord. So they need entrepreneurs to be those folks that create affordable housing for people to live in. Again, that's another net benefit of society. So if you play that game that way, you understand the rules, and you understand that if you make your capital a certain way, position it and deploy it a certain way, it's a net win at every level for the economy as a whole, and therefore you're rewarded in the tax code, where the people that are not in the know, that earn income the most inefficient way possible and position it the most inefficient way and then deploy it the most inefficient way, they get penalized. And it's one of those things about financial education. But that is, if you think about it to your point with taxes, the tax code, and that's a hot topic right now, obviously globally, politically, as we have another election year on top of another election year. But taxes is the game, and you have to understand how it works. And those folks that are in the know and play the rules by the game that they know versus the people that don't even know that there's a game or are uninformed of this, it's two different worlds for those two sets of people.
I guess, as a total layman in the field of life insurance, and I know there's different types of life insurance, you're talking about a way that you can invest money and utilize that money to not only help bring down your taxes, but use it as investments. Can you just explain the different types of life insurance and the specific one you're referring to for our listeners and for myself, to be honest?
Hi, this is Melanie McCallan. Josh and I are just so grateful for the many investors who have already joined us at Accountable Equity. Accountable Equity is so much more than a capital group. It's really a community of accredited investors that want to learn and grow together. I just want to personally invite you, if you want to find out more about this type of investment and see if it's right for you and your family, please visit us at accountableequity.com. You can fill out the contact form. We'll get right back to you and see if this is a great fit for you and your family. We'd love to meet you. We look forward to learning about you. Please visit us at accountableequity.com.
Hey, this is Matt Sorensen, author of the Self-Directed IRA Handbook, CEO at Directed IRA. You're listening to the best podcast, the Capital Hacking Podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you think about and where this kind of like fits into as part of the strategy is just where you position capital. So you have to generate capital, and then you have to put it somewhere. It has to reside somewhere before you deploy it somewhere. It's funny when I have a conversation with people, they say, well, I just keep my money in real estate. Well, where do you keep it before it goes into real estate? Like, where does it go before it goes into the real estate? And there's a savings vehicle which life insurance companies offer. Now, why would we even look at it? One of your biggest threats, and this is the conversation we're having in a lot of the groups that I'm in and the networks that I'm a part of, the number one worst, the single worst financial strategy right now that's out there, nothing else comes even close, is deferring taxes. The number one strategy, worst financial strategy. So why would it be such a worse financial strategy? If you think about where we are taxes in the United States, and most people, I don't think are aware of this, and I guess it's all relative, but historically, the rates are kind of low right now. If you've seen where taxes have been in the United States historically. So it's still, everything is relative. If you compare it to history, we're still at a pretty low tax rate. Now, every single country on the face of the planet is up to debt. It's beyond the eyeballs, right? We say up to debt in our eyeballs. It's beyond the eyeballs. Everybody's swimming in a sea of debt. Pick your country, pick your state or your province, pick your local town, city, municipality. They're all extremely indebted, and there's no solutions. There's no solutions that anybody has brought forward to solve this fiscal crisis, which governments, states, provinces, cities, all of them are in. So all of them are basically bankrupt. What's the solution? They're going to raise taxes and they're going to print more money, and that's why you're getting things such as capital gains tax of 46%. I think is what the current administration is proposing, jumping significantly. It's already been enacted in Canada. Capital gains tax over $250,000 of profit is at 66%. So you're getting these things thrown at. You're getting estate taxes basically cut in half on January 1st, 2026 in the United States. People are talking about a wealth tax, an unrealized capital gains tax. As crazy as this sounds, you don't even have to sell anything to be taxed. So this is already out there in the public sphere. People are talking about it. So the worst thing that you can do is to defer taxes into the future and pay it at a later date. So back to the life insurance, where the life insurance comes in is money that.
You for 1 second?
Yes.
It brings a question to mind. So are you talking about deferring taxes if it's like in I want to say like a SEP IRA, something? Is that what you're referring to? Or would it be like if somebody's doing a 1031 exchange? Because you could literally do a 1031 exchange, just keep doing it your whole life and keep deferring. So which, if not both, can you explain that to me, please?
Yes, there's a lot of those strategies. I mean, when you come to very tax efficient strategies, there's a ton of them. You just listed that 1031 exchange, people converting parts over of their, let's just say 401k, their IRA into a Roth 401k or into a Roth, paying the taxes now in chunks every single year. Yeah. Again, I'm not a CPA. Yeah. Talk to your tax strategist about this, but at least you're eliminating paying taxes 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. If you look at places where to warehouse capital, and where to warehouse capital that protects it from future taxation. One of the things is a Roth, right? And I've been in mastermind groups too, where there's backdoor Roths and all these kind of strategies where you could put up to 70K, let's just say, per year into a Roth. Okay, and those are all great strategies. But when you run out of that, where else would you put it? And if you look at what they do in family offices, what the ultra affluent are doing, they're putting it in life insurance because it protects it from future taxation, and through proper legal structuring, you can protect it even for transferring, wealth from one generation to another. And that's the other thing that I also see. And like once a while, I jump on and I see some of the ads jump up and people talk about stuff. There's a lot of doom and gloom about this tax conversation. And I always bring a little bit of positivity to it, saying, look, again, back to my previous statement, there's two types of people that know the game and people that don't know the game. And the people that know the game, they're going to find ways to continue to not be taxed, or pay legally as little taxes as possible. And the other folks that are not in the know, they're unfortunately going to be the people paying the most amount of taxes. So everybody's goal that's listening to this show should be to be in the first group. Understand what's going on, understand the game, understand the threats that's coming down the road, and you can do things now already and position yourself so you don't have to be a victim of when these things roll out in the future.
So John, deep question, lots of things we should still talk about there, but you just gave us a segue, MC, to the best endorsement for Learn and Grow, August 24th, and then again in December. Learn and Grow is that mastermind in-person community event that Accountable Equity does. And there are people out there in our friendship circles that say, Josh, you guys invest so much money in these and you put on the best shows. Why do you guys do it? And honestly, there's a part of it that is incredibly important, right? You need to be around an MC or a John Edwin to start to talk about these, what were once, I've never even heard of these strategies before. And now by having conversations with real people that have great hardworking ethics, that have built something, and they start talking about these really important strategies, and you're like, oh, people actually do this? Yes, the wealthy have always done it, and now we get to join that side of the equation. We get to be in the know. Well, you don't get to be in the know until you meet people. Because,
Right.
there's a book out there for everything. Go read it. Well, yeah, or human nature, you learn things by getting to know John Edwin or getting to know MC Laubscher. Anyway, so the best thing I'm hearing you say is we need to figure out what these other set of rules are. And you were talking about don't postpone taxes. There's a deep question there. John did a great job asking you, well, what about 1031? You're throwing a really complicated topic out there I don't think we can get through today, because obviously in real estate, one of the best strategies is to continue to postpone taxes. I think what you're saying is, okay, you've postponed taxes by buying real estate. Yes, ultimately we owe those taxes. But as John said, if you do it right, you might be able to flip it into a 1031 and again delay taxes. There's a lot there. Let's not go into it anymore here. Let's do it in person at the upcoming Mastermind Learn and Grow. And that's why I have a CPA coming. And it's the strategist CPA that so many of us rely on to design our funds. His name's Mike Pine. So I had to promote it like you promoted your books, MC. But now you understand why. And then I'll give one more plug. So John, I've shared this with you before, but MC takes care of Melanie and I, right? And so when we warehouse cash, we put it with MC's programs, and he calls that company Producers Wealth. And I love the name Producers Wealth. I think that's from, what is that, from Rand? What is that?
I look at the producers as the builders, right? The builders of our world and our economy, producers and creators. They're the people that keep everything moving forward. So they build our world for us. And I've always wanted to provide value and help the producers and the creators. I want to help the helpers out in our economy.
And John, I promised you one other thing before we let MC go. So when John got on the podcast today, he was 30 seconds early. Okay, but MC and I were 1.5 minutes early. So when we were talking, John, just to catch you up to speak, because I want to hear MC's thoughts on this. The day started off rough for me. This was like a rough morning. I don't know. I felt the weight of the world, and I wasn't feeling happy. So I said to MC, I'm like, man, what do you do when you're not feeling like it doesn't feel like it's going to be a good day, or, what do you do? And then I want to ask you to say it again, MC. What do you do?
Yeah, I just want to preface this. Too, that there's a lot of stuff out there on social media in our world. And, I'm a very skeptical person to begin with. And I look at all that stuff. I'm like, I don't know if you get up at 4:30 and run 10 miles and, read for 5 hours. And, I don't know all that stuff. But what I do know is that how the human mind is wired. And I think, I was jokingly saying to Josh, I think it's natural for any human being to sometimes wake up and they feel maybe anxious, they feel stressed, they're not in a good mood. Maybe they're feeling a little bit down and out about, because it's not just all rainbows and unicorns, right? And I think that also instinctively how humans are wired is that, when we wake up, or our first action in the morning is to survive. Maybe when we woke up in a cave, thousands of years ago, the first thing is to survive the onslaught from the saber-toothed tiger that's waiting for us, that's ready to hunt, right? So the first thing is survival, and then it's like, then you go out and expand and build and that kind of thing. So I think still we're wired that way. So when I wake up and, sometimes it's just you're down about something, or there's something that's bugging you, or there's something that's not sitting well with you, what I try to do is just write out the things that are bugging me, that are not sitting well, or threats. Sometimes it's things that I'm like, what am I going to do about this? What am I going to do about, there might be someone listening that they see the rollout of AI and they're like, this is making me anxious or nervous. So I write all those things out, and then I start to look at those things and I said, okay, how do I turn this around? How do I turn this into opportunity? How do I take these lemons and make lemonade from them? And it's been a pretty good exercise. And then I also look at, what I can bring in from my skill sets to then turn those lemons into lemonade. So that kind of turns the day around for me. And then all of a sudden I start to see, a lot of opportunity again. So, but the reality is, first I faced what is not sitting well. I faced the threats that I'm facing, and I documented those, and then I turn it around. I started doing that in 2020, by the way. Every day I get up and I do I'm like, what are the biggest dangers to me, my family, my business, and investments? And then I start to look at, okay, these are all the dangers. How can I take some of those dangers and, number one, how can I manage them, or how can I turn them around and turn them into opportunities? AI, I've mentioned that as an example, great example, because that's a threat to a lot of businesses that most people aren't even aware of. And you can turn that into a massive opportunity for any business right now. And actually, propel your business instead of just waiting for it to happen to you, or having your competitors getting an upper hand on you with AI.
Love it, love it, love it. Josh, great freaking episode, man. This was awesome. MC, thank you so much. Where can our listeners find you?
Thank you so much for having me, guys. Cashflowninja.com. Those books, again, you can download them there, the ebook and the audiobook. It's all available at cashflowninja.com, all of those books. We're giving them away, and if you want to buy the physical copy, you could just go onto Amazon and type in MC Laubscher or the 21 best cash flow niches, and you'll find all of the books.
Thank you so much, buddy. It's great to have you here.
Love it.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Damn straight. We just got
buddy.
We got to the end of another great show, and everyone listening right now, you're the family and friends. Thanks for staying till the end.
That was so fun. And hey, hit the like, hit subscribe. We're here to serve you guys. That's why we're doing this show. Josh is not paying me. I'm doing this off of my quote unquote sweat equity, because we want to make a difference in your life. And then that ripple effect will continue to touch the world.
Hey, amen, brother. Please check us out on capitalhacking.com, all the social media threads. And yes, I know you've probably already sent this episode to one of your best friends. Thank you. We love you. Just go right into your iPhone, hit the plus symbol. We'll talk to you later. See you next week.
Share.